Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming along to my session today, and I hope you're having a really good day. My name's Cath. I'm the CEO of the SKYLARK Partnership, as it says on the slide. And the SKYLARK Partnership is a specialist multi-academy trust for alternative provisions that support children with medical and mental health difficulties. I've been in the sector working with children with medical and mental health difficulties for over 20 years now. So I guess you could say I've got a bit of experience. Now, why am I talking to you today? Well, I'm really passionate about using the ethical leadership framework and wanted to talk to you a little bit about what it means in practice and how I use it in my everyday life. As leaders, well, as most people in education, are really well aware of the Nolan principles of public life: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. And they've worked for many, many years. So why do we need any other frameworks? Well, in 2017, a group of organisations that was led by ASCL recognised that actually was a discord between the primary principles of education and what actually we want as leaders for our children. Driving market forces, league tables, DFE requirements, constantly changes, Ofsted frameworks, accountability, all of that pulls us as leaders in all sorts of different directions. And actually it was put together, as you can see, by this group, just for us to consider the educational foundation of the work that we do, and actually to be a bit of a guiding light, a moral compass, to kind of give us guidance in times of great change and when there's unprecedented pressure on education, as there is at the moment. All of our schools are very diverse with different accountability measures. For example, I will certainly have different ones in alternative provision than you have in your mainstream settings. So I don't have to worry about league tables, but I have to worry about the negativity around it. The schools who commission our work wanting outcomes for their children, which is absolutely right. And we just seem to be always under great pressure, competing pressure all the time. And we need some way of being able to manage that. So these organisations came up with a clear set of principles, which I'm going to show you here, none of which you will find rocket science. But when I first came across them, it was like somebody had gone inside my head, had a little bit of a rummage round and go, yeah, these are your values, I'm just going to chuck them out there. And actually I had this light bulb moment and went, thanks guys, this is what I've been trying to articulate all this time and actually haven't quite made it. So what I do is I have this framework on a piece of laminated paper, yes, old-fashioned piece of paper that I keep with me. It sits in my handbag, in my diary, on my desk whilst I'm working, and I use it all of the time. So kinds of examples about this is when we're talking at a trust board level, we always start our trust board with a story, a case study of one of the children in our trust and the difference that our input and our support has made to that child. We talk a lot about our alumni and what they have gone on to do. And actually that just reminds us all that at the bottom of all this high finance talk, strategic work, sits the child, and we must never ever lose sight of the child in all of that. We use this framework to challenge each other. When we first set up as a MAP, we were relatively new, and the trustees were very, very keen to have a big event. We were the first type of this MAP in the country. We should launch it. We should be proud. And one of the other trustees just said, well, hang on a minute. I'm just looking at our ethical leadership framework. I don't think that's really great value for money, and actually we should be using our money for other things. And actually everybody sat back and went, do you know, you're absolutely right. I often use it when I get those emails that make your blood boil as well, where you want to stamp out and really tap out on the keyboard because they make you proper grumpy. But what I learn now to do is take a nice deep breath, to check through my ethical leadership framework and leave it for at least 2 hours when I am in the right frame of mind to respond professionally and kindly. And trying to think about what was in the mind of that person that made them send that email, that made it sound so unpleasant and really hit home with myself. Or is it about something within myself that's received that email? We think about them all of the time in everything we do with our children and young people and their parents. You know, when we're having difficult conversations about, is this child suitable for our provision? Could we offer something? Are we able to do it? And sometimes people get a little bit hung up on all the paperwork and the protocols, and just bringing it back to the framework and just having a look through and thinking again, don't forget that child at the bottom of all that we do. And in working with staff, I have to say I have used it a lot during the lockdown time, and just remembering always, above all, to be kind in everything that we do. And those that don't want to come in for no apparent reason, in your opinion, just being kind and trying to put yourself in their shoes. So really my key message is today is actually, as leaders, we must never ever lose sight of our core values. And sometimes when things are keeping us awake at night, we need a moral compass and a framework to help us know that we have done and made the best decisions to the best of our abilities. And actually any decisions we make, what is the impact on that child and young person at the bottom of all that we do? So I would encourage you to look at the framework, to think about the framework, and perhaps adopt it as a moral compass, because certainly that would be my recommendations. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope soon we'll be able to meet in person. Goodbye.